Hey guys, what's up? I'm bringing you this video to start a new series, and pretty much what this series is going to be is me covering all the tournament modes and what the best tactics are for that week. So let's get into it. So as you can see, this week if you go into the tournament mode, there's a modifier every week. This week the modifier is an alchemist modifier, and pretty much this helps your burn abilities, your poison abilities, and also skill damage. Heals you when you kill enemies. So this week you're going to be focusing on burns and poison. So I'll just go through all the basics, the good things, the bad things, and pretty much what you should collect in this build. So just to start off, abilities. So Flash Fire is going to be a massive ability because it's your rotation ability and also burns. Another one's going to be the Flame Breath, mainly because you can channel this and it's pretty much going to burn them. It's almost 100% chance to burn them. They're the two abilities we want to focus on. So with the abilities this week, we're going to want to focus as much mana as we can, so we can spam these abilities, because overheat won't work. We can't use overheat, otherwise it's going to burn you too much. So for the talents, we're going to talents. As you can see, I'm using, pyromancy for burning enemies. It also makes them feared. I'm using mana abilities, so critical hits, heal mana, and also fiery temper, which does more damage to burning enemies. And obviously, like you can see here, you don't want to be using overheat. So another thing you can do is you can use sharpen sensors, which will block people and you'll get crit hits from that, and also boss stopper, and the critical hits will help because we're also going to look at the poison feature of this game, and as you can see I have 25 crit chance. So this is pretty much the method I usually get up the top. I'll go into a round and show you exactly how the method works, what's involved, and pretty much, show you guys it works. So as you can see, I'm fighting enemies way above my level, and as you can see, it's not too much of an issue. I'm not taking too much damage because currently I'm using Void as obviously for my poison weapon, and I'm also using Fire, which is good for burst. Any damage I do take, I do heal it from the skill damage. So I'll show you in real time now, not fast. So pretty much, as you can see, I go into the fight, I rotate around the enemy using my Flash Fire and end it with the Flame Breath. Now you're gonna want to have as much mana as you can, mainly because again you can't use overheat and you're gonna run out of mana doing this method. So as you can see, Lava Icky, one of the hardest bosses in the game when it comes to the burn stage, because his burn does a lot of damage, and also he's a higher level with regen and vanish. As you can see, I'm just easily flash firing away from him. I'm also just using my flame breath whenever I get away from him, and this burn is enough to take him down. Every now and then you'll see I will crit, which will give me more void damage, which I have void armor on, and that pretty much helps me with my poison. These two together is enough to get you up to high levels. That was just the level 60 round, I think it was, and I'm up to level 77, but obviously that's after a few attempts over and over again. So really quickly, I'll show you my gear. So as you can see, I'm using poison cleavers with crit chance, damage to bosses, and crit damage. We're using fire gloves for the fire damage. You can see I'm using skill damage. Fire damage taken is less because obviously when they burn me it does a lot of damage, and also health. And then next I'm using the corrupting visage, which gives skill damage, damage to bosses, and also damage reduced from bosses. So the boss stages are easy. We got skill damage, max mana, health, so I'm using the mana, also putting void damage in there, and health for a little bit of survivability. We got the boots of health. The fire damage is going towards our fire abilities and the dodge. And obviously here we have the crit chance, max mana, and the block, it's there, mainly because I was too lazy to re-roll it and spend 20 crafting coins on it. But yeah, that's the reason why I've got all those. Max mana, just for more mana, and pretty much damage towards both the weapons and the elements we use. So obviously I'm going to go through all the gear. So we've got the corrupt gear, which will help boost your weapon. It'll also help suck them in so you can rotate. We also, if you want to use that, you can use the Thorn set, which will also do void damage and obviously deflect void damage at them. We obviously have the pyro helm. Now this is really good for burning because obviously you get all pieces of pyro, you get burning, then you get double burning, so it's massive damages. But if you also want to add igniter armor in, you can, because when you kill people with fire, it will give you mana, so it's another way just to survive longer in fights. If you're lucky enough to have regular armor, you can use that for block. If you're going to use regular armor for block, you'll see you can use the Marina set and use that with the ability, the block ability that gives you crit. This will allow you to crit and put more void poison on enemies. Then we have our main poison cleavers. It's the number one weapon I'd recommend in this build, mainly because it does poison even if you have low crit, it'll still crit. We have the wands, which pretty much refuels your fuel, so if you run out of mana, at least you have a backup for some fuel. So this is very helpful. And then obviously we have the lantern, and this pretty much helps you with channeling. So this is just a quick guide on the best things to, use whatever way you want to use this tournament. That's how I managed to get up to higher levels using that. I'll be bringing out a video in this context every week just so everyone can get an idea of the best methods to go in a tournament. And I apologise for this being late. I didn't really think about this until now, and a lot of people have been asking. So hopefully you can quickly slide into the top positions and get the new regular armor. Thanks for watching. I'll be uploading another one when the new tournament comes out. So I'll see you guys then.